Hey everyone, welcome back. Today, we're diving into one of the wildest stories in entertainment, the unforgettable moment that left Ozzy Osbourne fans completely stunned. We'll uncover the hidden details, the surprising turns, and take a closer look at the life of the one and only Prince of Darkness. Stick around, because we're about to reveal what really happened and why it made such a lasting impact. Have you ever heard about Ozzy Osbourne and the wild stories from his life? If you have, drop a 1-inch the comments. But if this is your first time hearing about him, type 0 below. And hey, don't forget to stick around till the end of the video and hit that subscribe button to support the channel so we can keep bringing you more amazing content. Fans have long known about Ozzy Osbourne's battles with Parkinson's and the accidents that have affected his health. But some imagined what-if stories paint a different picture. In these versions, experts talk about unusual findings that couldn't be explained by Parkinson's alone. They mention internal damage that might hint at other long-term factors, possibly the effects of years of hard living. In this light, the idea of an autopsy isn't about shock value, but about understanding the incredible mark Ozzy left behind through a life filled with both chaos and brilliance. Ozzy Osbourne has built a legendary legacy that changed rock music forever. His impact is truly one of a kind. Yet even in stories imagining his final chapter, the mystery around his journey continues to fascinate fans. Was there something Ozzy never revealed? Did he understand more about his condition than he ever let on? The reports bring up plenty of striking details, but they also leave behind new questions about the Prince of Darkness. And just like his music, those mysteries will keep echoing in the hearts of fans for years to come. Imagined reports describe some shocking findings in vital organs like the liver, kidneys, and heart. In these versions, experts point to clear signs of long-term strain believed to be linked to the years Ozzy spent living that classic rock and roll lifestyle. These effects weren't seen as just physical wear and tear, but as factors that made it harder for his body to recover later in life. Analysts suggest that it was the mix of his underlying health challenges and the lasting impact of his past habits that may have caused his condition to worsen more quickly than many expected. In imagined reports, early autopsy findings were said to reveal details never mentioned before. Small traces of unknown substances were reportedly found in Ozzy's blood and tissues, leading to speculation and calls for more investigation. While not considered dangerous on their own, these discoveries raised questions about possible indirect effects on his health. On top of that, examinations of his brain and nervous system were described as showing more complex changes than doctors had ever realized during his life. It all leads to one haunting question. Were there hidden factors at work that even Ozzy and his doctors never fully understood? The report sparked a lot of conversation, revealing details that surprised both experts and fans alike. Along with Ozzy's well-known battles with Parkinson's and long-term spinal issues, analysts pointed out some unusual reactions in his body, things that some believed could be linked to outside factors we still don't fully understand. That's what led to theories that Ozzy might have encountered something that affected his nervous system or overall health later in life. Now, there's no solid proof behind those claims, but these unexpected details have definitely opened the door to new debates and fresh discussions. While the imagined reports of an autopsy didn't point to any clear outside cause behind Ozzy's passing, they painted a bigger and more sobering picture of the health battles he was believed to face in his later years. Parkinson's, spinal injuries, and the lasting impact of his past lifestyle all came together in this version of the story. Instead of closing the book, the account sparked deeper reflection on the heavy price a music legend might pay for a life that was both dazzling and demanding. These imagined autopsy stories also carry a bigger message, the lasting impact that years of substance use can have on the body, even long after recovery or major lifestyle changes. In this version, Ozzy's life becomes a powerful reminder of how the choices we make can leave echoes that stay with us. His journey from wild, rebellious rock star to legendary icon stands not just as a story of personal struggle, but as a lesson for the generation that once celebrated the chaos and excess of rock and roll. The idea of an autopsy in Ozzy Osbourne's case has always sparked debate among both fans and experts. Some believe it wouldn't be necessary, given his long history of health struggles and the years he spent under close medical supervision. Others argue that it would make sense, especially for someone as publicly known as Ozzy. In these imagined versions, the procedure is said to be carried out with extreme care, not just to clear up lingering questions, but also to prevent false speculation and make sure every detail is properly understood. Imagined autopsy stories draw a clear connection between Ozzy Osbourne's health and the lifestyle he lived over the years. In these versions, his long battles with addiction are said to have left lasting effects on key organs like the liver, kidneys, and heart. Experts in these portrayals suggest that years of drugs, alcohol, and even prescription medications may have played a major role in his physical decline. It all echoes what Ozzy himself has openly shared about his struggles with addiction, mental health, and the heavy pressures of fame challenges that, in this telling, pushed his body to the edge in his later years. In imagined versions of the story, Ozzy's biggest challenge comes from the limits of his Parkinson's treatment. The benefits of his medication are said to fade over time as his body adjusts, and the side effects become harder to manage. While he's able to stay active for certain periods, the decline caused by Parkinson's is portrayed as something that can't be reversed. Alongside his medication, he's also described as going through physical therapy to keep his mobility and manage the pain. But sticking to that routine is shown as an everyday struggle, especially with the chronic pain and old spinal injuries that make every step of recovery so difficult. One striking detail in these imagined accounts is that even after Ozzy's recovery from addiction, the long-term effects of alcohol and drugs were still said to be visible in his body. Specialists in these versions describe his liver, kidneys, and heart as showing signs of lasting strain, evidence of a past shaped by years of excess. This damage is portrayed not just as a factor in his health's rapid decline, but possibly as a key reason behind the organ failure that ultimately ended his story. Beyond the shock, it serves as a powerful reminder of the heavy price that can come with decades of living life on the edge. In these imagined reports, specialists suggested that Ozzy's spinal injuries didn't just limit his movement, they also took a serious toll on his overall health, making recovery harder as time went on. In this version of the story, chronic pain wasn't just a physical burden, it also played a huge role in his mental and emotional struggles. When combined with the damage to his organs and the challenges of Parkinson's, these issues were portrayed as the main reasons his health declined so quickly in his later months. It all stands as a powerful reminder of the price Ozzy was imagined to have paid for a life lived to the fullest through his groundbreaking music and his wild, risk-filled choices. Imagined autopsy stories didn't just focus on the signs of Parkinson's, they also suggested that Ozzy's body carried the marks of many other struggles most people never saw. Even though he was known to live sober in his later years, the impact of his past couldn't be completely undone. In these versions, overcoming addiction is seen as an incredible mental victory, but one that couldn't fully erase the physical damage left behind. Those hidden effects are portrayed as the driving force behind his rapid health decline, weakening his ability to fight illness and shaping the final chapters of his life. In imagined versions of the story, even with doctors working tirelessly to manage Ozzy's complicated health challenges, his condition is said to show little improvement. Through it all, his devoted wife, Sharon Osbourne, is portrayed as his constant source of strength. More than just a loving partner, Sharon is depicted as his rock, a loyal companion, a sharp-minded manager, and an endless well of emotional support. Together, they faced every setback, proving that their bond was one of the strongest forces helping Ozzy push through the hardest moments of his life. In these imagined accounts, The Osbourne family, especially Sharon, is portrayed as making incredible sacrifices to help Ozzy face the painful challenges of his later years. They devoted endless time and care, supporting him every step of the way while showing unshakable strength through it all. Sharon's love and devotion are depicted as his greatest source of encouragement, giving Ozzy the will to keep fighting and face reality head-on, even as his health continued to decline. Despite facing several serious illnesses, Ozzy Osbourne is often portrayed in imagined accounts as never losing his will to live. In these versions, one of the main treatments during his later years is Parkinson's medication, prescribed to help control tremors and improve movement. Parkinson's disease, a progressive disorder that affects the nervous system, is described as an inseparable part of his journey, bringing constant fatigue, shaking, and challenges with mobility. Medications like L-Dopa are said to ease the symptoms for a while, helping him stay active and continue doing what he loved, even though they couldn't stop the disease from progressing. In imagined accounts, doctors noted that even though Ozzy pushed himself to stay consistent with physical therapy, the constant pain, along with the exhaustion from Parkinson's and the lasting effects of his past, made it nearly impossible for him to live a normal life. The burden of illness and old injuries is portrayed as a daily battle during his later years. Yet despite all of that, his determination and fighting spirit are remembered as nothing short of remarkable, a true reflection of the resilience that defined him both on and off the stage. Another surprising detail in these imagined autopsy stories points to the lasting impact of the spinal injuries Ozzy suffered throughout his career. From dramatic stage falls to serious car accidents, these moments are said to have left him with major damage to his spine and muscles. Even after multiple surgeries, he never fully regained normal movement, and chronic pain followed him for years. In these versions, those struggles made his later life incredibly challenging, both physically and mentally. So, here's a question for you. Do you think findings like these could change how the world sees a celebrity? If you do, drop a 2 inches the comments, and if not, type 5. Every interaction keeps me motivated to bring you more shocking and mysterious stories from the entertainment world. And don't forget, like, subscribe, and share this video if you enjoyed it. In imagined versions of Ozzy's final days, Sharon is portrayed as far more than just a caregiver. She becomes his closest confidant. She's described as listening to every worry, every fear, and every thought that crossed his mind as he faced the idea of death. Thanks to her constant presence and unwavering love, these accounts suggest that Ozzy found a deep sense of comfort and peace within himself, allowing him to face the end with calm and acceptance, even through all the pain and chaos around him. Even though Ozzy Osbourne had left drugs behind years earlier, imagined accounts describe the effects of his past as being permanently etched into his body. In these versions, forensic specialists suggest that the damage to his liver and kidneys may have built up slowly over decades, only becoming obvious much later in life. These issues are portrayed as the classic aftermath of long-term alcohol and substance use. And while he was said to have made real efforts to improve his health in his later years, the severe damage from the past remained a driving force in his rapid decline, adding to the weight of the conditions he was already battling. In imagined reports, doctors pointed out signs of dysfunction in Ozzy's major organs that had rarely been mentioned before. In these versions, the problems are linked not just to Parkinson's disease, but also to the lifelong toll of stress, addiction, and years of physical injuries. The strain on his body is described as so severe that even with top medical care in his later years, his organs were said to have struggled under the weight of decades of wear and hardship, painting a powerful picture of just how much he endured throughout his life. In imagined accounts, doctors revealed that Ozzy made the difficult decision to stop medical treatment as his health continued to decline. This choice is portrayed not as giving up, but as a conscious step toward peace and acceptance. He's described as believing that more treatments wouldn't truly extend his life in a meaningful way, and that what he wanted most was to find calm, free from the constant pain and struggle of illness. These narratives portray his decision as the closing of a life marked by chaos and hardship, yet also filled with love, forgiveness, and the enduring humanity that made Ozzy Osbourne unforgettable. In imagined accounts, when Ozzy was battling relentless pain and a sharp decline in his health, Sharon is always portrayed as being right by his side, caring for him and supporting him every step of the way. She's described as saying that during the darkest moments, when Ozzy felt like he couldn't go on, it was her encouragement that kept him fighting. Her devotion is portrayed not just as physical care, but as a deep source of emotional and spiritual strength, helping Ozzy hold on to his will and faith, even in times that felt completely hopeless. In imagined narratives, Sharon Osbourne's care for Ozzy is portrayed as going far beyond his physical health. She's also shown as playing a vital role in helping him face the deep emotional and psychological battles he went through. Feelings of despair, loneliness, and helplessness are described as slowly weighing on his mind, but through it all, Sharon is there by his side, encouraging him, sharing his pain, and reminding him that he was never truly alone, even in his darkest hours. In imagined accounts, Ozzy is described as having a powerful moment in his final days, one where he finally came to terms with the reality of death and found peace within himself. His reflections are portrayed not just as deeply personal, but as carrying a universal message about love, forgiveness, and the courage to truly face life. In these versions, the final months of his journey are shown as a period of profound introspection, where Ozzy looked back on the choices and mistakes he'd long kept buried from the chaos of his career to his lifelong battles with addiction and illness. In imagined accounts of his life, Ozzy is portrayed as having faced countless battles with his own mind. When waves of depression, loneliness, and despair threatened to consume him, he is described as always finding the strength to fight back. By his side through it all was Sharon Osbourne, depicted not only as the one who helped him endure the physical pain, but also as the unwavering force who guided him through his darkest mental struggles. In these narratives, she stands as far more than a wife. She is his companion, his manager, and his fiercest protector, holding him steady when everything else seemed to fall apart. In imagined narratives, late-night heart-to-heart talks, gentle walks through the quiet green garden, and peaceful evenings spent side by side became Ozzy's greatest source of comfort and spiritual refuge. Sharon is portrayed as doing all of this not just out of love, but from a deep understanding of her husband's fragile health and state of mind. She is described as fully aware of the pain, both physical and emotional, that he carried within him. And whenever exhaustion grew too heavy, she was always there, to listen, to comfort, and to stand beside him through it all. In imagined narratives, Sharon Osbourne is portrayed as Ozzy's greatest source of strength in his later years. She is described as standing with him through every challenge, facing not only the struggles of illness, but also the deep inner battles that weighed on his soul. Her love and devotion are depicted as bringing Ozzy a sense of peace, a powerful reminder of the enduring strength of love that transcends even life and death. In the end, that unwavering companionship is remembered as an inseparable part of this music legend's moving and unforgettable story. In imagined narratives of his final months, Ozzy Osbourne is portrayed as enduring not only unbearable physical pain, but also engaging in deep, soul-searching reflections on life and death. This battle is described as far more than a physical struggle. It becomes an emotional and spiritual journey, where the love and unity of his family serve as his greatest source of strength. Surrounded by that devotion, Ozzy is depicted as finally finding the courage, peace, and acceptance to face his final moments, leaving behind a legacy that will echo through generations. Ozzy Osbourne is celebrated as one of the greatest icons in the history of heavy metal and rock. From his groundbreaking years with Black Sabbath to his unforgettable solo career, his influence has left an unshakable mark on the world of music. With legendary albums like Blizzard of Oz and Diary of a Madman, and timeless anthems such as Crazy Train, Iron Man, and Paranoid, Ozzy's sound continues to ignite the hearts of fans across generations. His legacy isn't just about music, it's about resilience, rebellion, and the courage to be unapologetically himself. The Prince of accounts suggest that without Sharon's steadfast love and the support of their family, Ozzy's journey might not have been as enduring or as deeply meaningful as it became. In imagined narratives, this moment is portrayed as Ozzy's final acceptance, the point when he came to peace with the reality that nothing could change his fate. Doctors in these accounts describe how, in his final days, ensuring he never faced his battle with illness alone. In Imagine have carved an indelible mark in the history of music. These achievements have made him a true, timeless icon, admired and respected by generations of fans around the world. The memories and influence of Ozzy Osbourne will live on forever. He is more than a musical legend. He is an icon of resilience, passion, and courage. His journey reminds us that no matter the next episode, and remember, sometimes imagination can be even more thrilling than reality.